Hello friends, today I'm talking about gaslighting, but I'm talking about it from a different angle. Okay, so I've done a lot of videos on how toxic people like malignant narcissists use gaslighting to cause you to doubt yourself, to make you feel like you're crazy, and to minimize your reality, right? And basically to cause complete confusion. So I've done a lot of videos, and there's a lot of videos out there that are like that. And it's important to know how people use gaslighting. And if you've been in relationships, or if you were raised by parents that are on the scale of NPD, then it's important to understand how they used gaslighting to keep you in a disempowered emotional state, right? Because the purpose of gaslighting is to minimize your experience, to minimize your reality, and therefore control you. If you don't have a firm grip on your truth, on your reality, on what is right and wrong, then you're a lot easier to control, okay? But here's the thing. Even if you remove all toxic people from your life, okay, and you've detoxed, you have left anyone that was trying to emotionally and psychologically destroy you, and now you're on your own, or you're with other members of your family that are relatively healthy. I say relatively because none of us are completely healthy. And that's a good thing, right? Because you are not dealing with the gaslighting externally. However, if you don't realize ways that you may have internalized that behavior, then the toxic people can be gone from your life, but you will continue to have a distorted view of reality, an inability to trust yourself. You will still continue to feel confused, and it'll be impossible for you to be healthy or to feel healthy and empowered. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 ways that you might be gaslighting yourself. And with that in mind, for those that don't know me, my name is Michele. I'm a life and relationship coach specializing in complex PTSD. I'm also the founder of the Thriver School of Transformation, which is an interactive monthly membership where we meet live weekly and we talk together about all of the things I talk about on my channel. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, make sure you check out the link in the description box below. Okay, so the first way that you might be gaslighting yourself is with red flags. In other words, you start picking up that somebody's behavior is off, right? You start noticing things and your alarm bells inside go off. Your body's sending you sensations that something isn't right. And what do? You start minimizing your perception by saying things like, oh, you're just being hypersensitive, or you're just being paranoid. Why are you looking at the negative? But look at this positive. You're not viewing this the right way. In other words, your inner self has internalized that behavior of gaslighting, and when it spots something, the voice in your mind that kicks on is like the same voice as the narcissist. It's a voice that causes you to feel disconnected from your truth, from the feelings that are coming up in your body, and you start to mistrust them. Especially if you grew up with parents that were malignant narcissists and that engaged in gaslighting, you really have to listen to that voice that comes on, because every inner voice was once an outer voice. And do you want the gaslighting voice of a malignant narcissist being the voice that kicks on every time you notice something or something about someone's behavior? Okay, so that's one way. The second way that we can often gaslight ourselves is by minimizing our own feelings and stifling them, making ourselves feel bad for even having them. So this usually comes up strongly with the emotions that when you were in the relationship with the toxic person, the emotions that you weren't allowed to feel. So those emotions might be anger, Like if they hurt you and they abused you and said horrible things and you got upset, you were gaslit to the point that you felt bad for being upset that they were abusing you. I mean, that's how crazy it gets, right? Well, oftentimes that gets internalized as well, especially if it comes from childhood. And somebody may treat you wrong. Somebody at work might be disrespectful or cross your boundary. Somebody at home might say something harsh or cruel that hurts your feelings. And you can gaslight yourself by trying to convince yourself that it's wrong to be upset. So you have to watch, where and when am I minimizing my emotions? Okay? There's no right or wrong with emotions. I remember asking somebody once, is it wrong that I'm upset that when I said this person said that, and that hurt me? Like, is that wrong? I now know that any person that comes to me in coaching that says, do you think that's wrong that I was sad or upset or angry? That is a person that has experienced gaslighting. Because when you can't even distinguish and hold on to the reality of what is healthy behavior and what isn't, it's because your reality has been spun around so much that it got confusing. Okay, so if you notice yourself asking things like that, and there's no toxic person in your life anymore, start evaluating where you might be gaslighting yourself. Okay, and it starts with, or at least overcoming it starts with allowing yourself to validate your real experience without judgment, without wondering if it's right or wrong. It's just noticing, this is what I'm feeling. I'm allowed to feel this. And allowing yourself to own whatever feelings come up. Now, obviously, the way we express our feelings, we want to be careful about, but feelings aren't bad or wrong. Okay? The third way you might be gaslighting yourself is with your inner critic. Remember, with gaslighting by a narcissist, a lot of it was just really confusing. A lot of it was with insinuations, accusations that were all the time just there, right? So you need to listen to that inner critic and what it's saying. Is that inner critic that is existing now in you, is it supportive? Is it compassionate? Does it have your back? Or are you living now with an inner critic that has adopted the personality of the narcissist? And if that's the case, the good thing is that you can change your inner critic. It does take time, it does take effort, but you can turn that inner critic into a compassionate dialogue so that your inner voice becomes a voice that helps you move forward instead of hindering your progress. So I challenge you to start looking in areas of your life where you might be gaslighting yourself. Now, if you notice that, the point of the video isn't to berate and judge you, right? Or for you to judge you harshly for doing this. You have to have compassion, because if you've been around something for a long time, we wind up internalizing them. It's not about getting angry at what you've internalized, it's about bringing it into your conscious awareness so that now that it's there, you can do something about it. When it's not in your conscious awareness, that gaslighting, that internalized gaslighting will just continue to steal your happiness, to keep you from feeling connected to self, from not being able to trust yourself. And who wants that? Right? So I hope this helps, and remember that if you're struggling by yourself and you feel like the videos aren't enough and that you need a little bit more interactive help, then check out the Thriver School of Transformation. We meet live every week. For the month of July, we're talking about trauma-induced codependency. So if it's something you feel you could benefit from, make sure you check it out.